Hey guys, we are hours away from kickoff in the Stamford Bridge. Chelsea versus PSG tonight. Champions League return game of the first knockout round. I wanted to do a short video on the day to give you all of the latest information we have on this game, starting with the starting 11s and a lot of surprises on the Chelsea side. They've got some last-minute injuries, and their defense, let me tell you, is going to be experimental to say the least. So first, if you compare with the game last week in Paris, Robert Sanchez is going to be back in goalkeeping. Philippe Jorgensen, who played in Paris, is out with injury since this weekend, so he's not going to be playing in this game. And so Rob Sanchez is going to be back. And then in their defense, we knew since yesterday that Reece James is injured, the captain, and so he's going to be missing this game. We had heard yesterday that Malo Gusto is sick, apparently with the flu, and yet apparently he's going to be part of the starting 11, Malo Gusto, which we'll see. Personally, I still find a bit doubtful because if you really have the flu, you're not playing a Champions League game the day after. But apparently he's well enough. And so their defense would be Malo Gusto, Trevor Chalobah, Marc Cucurella on the left, and the second central defender spot would be played by Jorrel Hato instead of Fofana, who played in the first game. Jorrel Hato is usually their substitute left back. We know he can play centre back. He has played that in the past. So the last couple of seasons is very much solidified at left back. And to give you a sense, so far this season with Chelsea, he played 271 minutes playing as centre back, which accounts for about 20%, a bit less than 20% of his playing time. He's played about 7 matches out of 26. And so usually he comes on the pitch for a few minutes in this role. But he's played it about 20%, not the best. The last game that he played was actually the return against Arsenal in the League Cup, which they lost 1-0. And there's been a couple of doubtful performances. He played the role when they went and drew against Qarabag. So yes, there's a couple of games where he played at that position, which didn't really end well for Chelsea. In front of the defense, Moses Caicedo would be in midfield with Andre Santos, since Reece James is not going to be there. And then up front, more classic stuff, Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, Pedro Neto, who didn't get suspended for pushing the ball boy in the Parc des Princes. He got, apparently, so I'm not sure I got this right, because this is like, again, another great UEFA kind of thing. Apparently, they gave him a yellow card after the game, but even with that yellow card, he's not getting suspended for this game. So there's something very strange about it. I honestly, I don't know if I got it right, but he's going to be on the pitch. And then the last one is going to be Joao Pedro up front. For PSG, a lot more classical. We're looking at Maivez Safonov in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, William Pacho, Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, Joao Neves, Warren Zaire-Emery, and then Kvaratskhelia, Bradley Barcola, and Ousmane Dembele. So pretty much our top starting 11. I've got to say, it smells good. A lot of players missing on the Chelsea side. They are tired. They played this weekend against Newcastle and lost at home. So even if it's going to be a very different game, even Liam Rosenier's press conference was a bit cagey, I thought. Essentially, what he said is that, like, he said his team has a chance, but only if they score the first goal, which I guess is kind of weird, because, like, you would want your team to think and to be under the assumption that whatever happens, they've got a chance, they should go for it, and, you know, if PSG score, we'll score more, and so on. Now, for him, it's like, if PSG scores, it's kind of game over, which is a very strange message to be sending to your players, if I'm honest. On his side, Joao Pedro was doing the press conference, was a player representing the club. Essentially said, we scored 3 goals on them in the Club World Cup, so we can do it again. Slightly different circumstances, if you ask me, but, you know, whatever Joao Pedro wants to believe. And cherry on the cake, now today, like there's... and for the past couple of days, there's been a lot of noise in the media about Enzo Fernandez potentially leaving the club at the end of the season. I think it's a club where there's a lot of uncertainty around the long term of the project, and whether, Liam Rosenior is going to last in his role, whether like they're going to qualify for the Champions League. If they don't, which player would be leaving, would want to be leaving? Financially, where do they stand? So there's a lot of noise around Chelsea. There's a lot of uncertainty on their side. We're going in with a 3-goal lead. And I'll keep saying it. I'm going to be saying it all the way to kickoff and all the way to the end of the game. We cannot take it easy. We've got to be at full strength. Park all of those thoughts, park all of those news to the side as PSG, and really like turn in a major performance like we did last week in the Parc des Princes. If possible, even one step higher. Because regardless of who's playing and regardless of the noise in the media, I expect Chelsea to be turning in a performance. So let's go for it. We're a few hours away. I've got faith in this PSG team. I think, if I compare Luis Enrique and Ousmane Dembélé at a very good press conference, very focused, very much aware of the fact that things can go fast in the Champions League. You need to be on top of the game all the time to qualify. They've learned their lesson in Aston Villa last year, so there's no excuse. And really, it's a team that has the circumstances, has the skills, and has the player to qualify. So that's what we should be doing. So anyway, this is what I had for you guys for match day. The last informations before kickoff on this Chelsea versus PSG game. Kickoff is at 8:45 p.m. French time. It's gonna be a big one. I'll be with you guys probably right after the game for a debrief. Win or lose, but hopefully win, and I really expect win. So you'll be hearing from me in the next few hours. Let me know in the comment what's your prediction for this game. What do you think the scoreline is gonna be? Let's throw our cap over the wall and make some predictions here. Let me know in the comment. As always, if you've made it this far, please drop a like on the video. Massively help. You know the drill. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. All the PSG news it fits every day in English on YouTube. So really worth subscribing to. And don't forget, as always, even in Stamford Bridge tonight, ici c'est Paris!